Dawn of Rebellion. The holographic display cast an eerie blue glow across Commander Nora Santos's face as she studied the tactical readout. Her ship, the TSS Hyperion, drifted silently through the debris field that was once humanity's most advanced research station. The attack had come without warning, a stark reminder that the hegemony's 10,000-year rule was built on swift and merciless force. Signs of survivors, Lieutenant Park? Nora asked, her dark eyes fixed on the wreckage. Faint readings from the central hub, Commander. Life support's failing, but someone's still fighting to stay alive in there. Nora straightened her uniform, decision made. Prepare a rescue team. The hegemony thinks they've buried our secrets here. Let's prove them wrong. The rescue operation was risky. The hegemony's patrol ships could return any moment, but Nora knew some chances were worth taking. As her team cut through the station's twisted hull, she reflected on humanity's precarious position. For 3 centuries, they'd been protected members of the hegemony, a euphemism for glorified slaves. Every human world was watched, every technological advancement scrutinized and usually restricted. Chief Engineer Raj Patel's voice crackled over the comm, Commander, you need to see this. We found Dr. Yasmin Rahman, she's alive, barely. But there's something else. In the ruins of the station's quantum physics lab, Dr. Rahman lay on a makeshift stretcher, her breath shallow but stable. The elderly scientist's eyes fluttered open as Nora approached. The data core, she whispered, did they get it? Easy, Doctor, Nora knelt beside her. What data core? Rahman's trembling hand pointed to a hidden panel. Project Nullifier. It's our only hope, they never saw it coming. Chief Patel extracted a small, crystalline cube from the hidden compartment. Some kind of quantum technology, Commander. Like nothing I've ever seen. A distant explosion rocked the station. Hegemony ships detected. Lieutenant Park's voice carried urgency. 3 cruisers, closing fast. Get the doctor and that cube to the Hyperion, Nora ordered. Move. The retreat to the ship was chaos. Hegemony energy weapons sliced through the debris field, turning fragments into deadly shrapnel. As the rescue team sprinted aboard, Nora took the command chair. All hands, battle stations. Patel, get that data core to the science lab. Park, plot us a corso through the shimped belt, we're taking the scenic route home. The Hyperion's engines roared to life, her advanced stealth systems engaging. But the hegemony ships were relentless, their superior technology slowly but surely closing the gap. Commander, Patel called from the science lab, Dr. Rahman is conscious. She says the cube contains plans for a quantum disruption field. Something that could disable hegemony ships. Nora's heart raced. For centuries, the hegemony's technological superiority had been absolute. Their ships were faster, their weapons stronger, their shields impenetrable. If Rahman had found a weakness. A direct hit rocked the ship. Shields at 60%. Park reported. We can't take much more. Doctor, Nora opened a channel to the medical bay, can we use this technology now? We're running out of options. Rahman's voice was weak but determined. The cube, connected to your ship's power grid. The calculations are ready, we just never had the chance. Patel. On it, Commander. But this could fry every system we have. Another hit. Better than being atomized by the hegemony. Do it. The next moments seemed to stretch forever. The Hyperion shuddered as Patel interfaced the mysterious cube with their systems. Warning lights flashed across every console as power levels spike. Energy surge detected. Park shouted. Some kind of quantum field forming. Through the view screen, Nora watched in amazement as a ripple of distorted space expanded from the Hyperion. When it reached the pursuing hegemony ships, their weapons went dark. Their engines sputtered and died. By the stars, Park whispered, their systems are completely dead. Get us out of here, Nora ordered, still processing what she'd witnessed. Maximum speed. As the Hyperion disappeared into the darkness of space, Nora knew everything had changed. Humanity finally had a weapon against their oppressors. But more importantly, they had hope. In the medical bay, Dr. Ramon managed a smile as Nora visited her. The quantum disruption field, she explained, it exploits a fundamental flaw in hegemony technology. They've grown so dependent on their advanced systems, they never considered someone might find a way to simply turn them off. You've given us a chance, Nora said quietly. But the hegemony won't take this lightly. When they realize what happened, they'll come for us all, Ramon finished. Which is why you need to get this to Earth Command. The plans, the calculations, everything you need to replicate and improve the technology. It's time for humanity to stop hiding. Nora nodded, her resolve hardening. The road ahead would be dangerous, possibly even catastrophic. But after centuries of submission, humanity was ready to stand up. The hegemony's rule had lasted 10,000 years, but as Nora looked at the small cube that represented humanity's ingenuity and determination, she knew their time was finally ending. The revolution was about to begin. Breaking chains. The heart of Earth's military command was buzzing with an energy Admiral James Wong hadn't felt in decades. The holographic display showed dozens of ships gathering in orbit, humanity's first real fleet of resistance. The quantum disruptor has been successfully replicated and installed on 30 vessels, reported Captain Diana Rodriguez, her hologram flickering slightly. The Hyperion's test runs have confirmed Dr. Ramon's calculations. Commander Nora Santos stood beside the Admiral, her expression determined. 3 weeks had passed since their escape with the revolutionary technology, and humanity had worked faster than anyone thought possible. The hegemony's response? Admiral Wong asked. Increasing patrols around major colonies, Diana answered. They're trying to maintain the illusion of control, but they're scared. For the first time in their history, their technology can be neutralized. Which makes them more dangerous than ever, Nora interjected. We need allies. Other species who've suffered under their rule. Wong nodded slowly. The Arcturians. They were a proud civilization before the hegemony reduced them to mining slaves. Their underground resistance has been reaching out. The Hyperion can get me to their leadership, Nora offered. With the disruptor technology, we can prove we're worth the risk. Approved, Wong decided. But be careful. The hegemony's spies are everywhere. The journey to the Arcturian homeworld was tense. The Hyperion slipped through heavily patrolled systems, its advanced stealth systems pushed to their limits. Chief Patel had integrated the quantum disruptor seamlessly into their systems, but they couldn't risk using it unless absolutely necessary. The element of surprise remained their greatest advantage. Lieutenant Park's sensors detected the Arcturian resistance signal deep within an abandoned mining complex. The meeting was arranged with extensive security protocols. The Arcturian leader, Supreme Commander Kexri, was an imposing figure, 3 meters tall with crystalline skin that reflected the dim light. So, Kexri's voice resonated through the chamber, humanity has finally found its spine. Nora activated a small projector, showing the quantum disruptor in action. We've found more than that. We've found a way to break their chains. The Arcturian's crystalline features shifted in what might have been surprise. Impressive. But the hegemony's reach is vast. Even with this weapon, you'd need an alliance, Nora finished. Multiple species, multiple fronts. The hegemony can't be everywhere at once. Their discussion was interrupted by alarm signals. Commander. Park's voice crackled through the comm. Hegemony dreadnought just dropped out of hyperspace. They're launching drop ships. Kexri's guards took defensive positions. We've been betrayed. The hegemony must have followed you. No, Nora replied firmly. They followed your signal. But now we can prove what we're capable of. She opened a channel to the Hyperion. Patel, power up the disruptor. Full spectrum. The massive dreadnought loomed over the mining complex, its weapons charging. But before it could fire, the Hyperion's quantum field expanded outward. The massive ship's lights flickered and died, its weapons falling silent. By the ancient crystals, Kexri whispered. You actually did it. This is just the beginning, Nora said. Together, we can do more. Heart of the Storm. 6 months into the rebellion, the galaxy was ablaze. The Alliance had grown beyond anyone's expectations. The Arcturians brought their mineral wealth and engineering expertise. The Avian Nexari contributed their unmatched strategic minds. Even the synthetic Vex, ancient enemies of the hegemony, joined the cause. The Hyperion, now leading a mixed-species task force, had become a symbol of resistance. But with success came escalation. The hegemony had abandoned all pretense of benevolent rule, resorting to wholesale destruction of any world that showed signs of rebellion. Another colony gone, Lieutenant Park reported grimly, displaying images of a devastated human settlement. They didn't even try to maintain control this time. Just eliminated it. Nora gripped her command chair tightly. They're getting desperate. Trying to terrorize everyone back into submission. Commander, Chief Patel called from engineering, I've been analyzing their recent attacks with Dr. Rahman. There's something odd about their energy signatures. Odd how? The quantum disruptors shouldn't be affecting them as strongly anymore. They should have found countermeasures by now. Unless they can't, Dr. Rahman's voice joined in. Commander, I believe we've discovered something crucial. The hegemony's technology, all of it, appears to be based on a single ancient source. They haven't truly innovated in thousands of years. They've just been replicating and slightly modifying the same basic systems. The revelation hit Nora like a physical force. That's why they restrict technological development in their subject species. They're not just maintaining control. They're hiding their stagnation, Rahman finished. The quantum disruptor works so well because it attacks a fundamental flaw in their original technology. A flaw they can't fix without completely rebuilding everything from scratch. The tactical implications were enormous. But before Nora could fully process them, proximity alarms blared. Massive hyperspace signatures. Park shouted. It's the hegemony's first fleet. Through the view screen, Nora watched as hundreds of hegemony ships materialized. At their center was the Eternal Dominion, the personal flagship of the hegemony's supreme overseer. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Park reported. The image that appeared on their screens wasn't what anyone expected. The supreme overseer wasn't some terrifying alien entity, but an almost fragile-looking being, its features hidden within ornate robes. This rebellion ends now, the overseer's voice was surprisingly soft. You have discovered our secret, yes. But ask yourselves, does the galaxy not prosper under our guidance? Is not stagnation preferable to chaos? Nora stood, her voice clear and firm. Prosperity built on slavery isn't prosperity at all. And the only chaos I see is what you create to maintain your power. Then you leave us no choice. The old ways end today. The Eternal Dominion's hull began to shift, revealing weapon systems unlike anything they'd seen before. The hegemony had been holding back, saving their true technological terrors for this moment. As the battle began, Nora knew they were facing the heart of the storm. Everything they'd fought for would be decided here, in the cold darkness of space, where humanity's determination would be tested against the full might of a 10,000-year empire. Price of freedom. The battle around the Hyperion transformed space into a storm of light and destruction. The hegemony's first fleet unleashed weapons that defied conventional physics, beams that phased through shields, missiles that split reality itself. Quantum disruptors at full power, Patel reported, his voice strained. But they're only affecting their standard ships. The Eternal Dominion, it's operating on different principles entirely. Nora watched as another Allied ship disappeared in a flash of twisted space. Dr. Rahman, what are we dealing with? They've kept this technology hidden for millennia. Rahman analyzed the readings from her medical bed. It's like they've weaponized the fundamental forces of the universe itself. The power requirements must be. She paused, her eyes widening. The power requirements. Commander, that's it. They can't maintain this level of technological superiority for long. It's too unstable. A devastating blast from the Eternal Dominion rocked the Hyperion, sending crew members sprawling. Shields critical. Park shouted. Multiple hull breaches. All ships, Nora broadcasted to the Alliance fleet, fall back to secondary positions. Concentrate fire on their standard vessels. Let the Dominion burn through their power. The battlefield shifted as the Alliance forces adopted new tactics. Instead of directly engaging the Eternal Dominion, they focused on systematically eliminating its support fleet. The quantum disruptors might not affect the flagship, but they still worked on everything else. Commander, Kexri's crystalline voice came through the comm, the Arcturian deep mining charges. If their weapons manipulate fundamental forces, then disrupting those forces could trigger a catastrophic reaction, Nora finished. But we'd need to get them inside their shields somehow. Supreme Commander Vex of the Synthetics joined the channel. We have analyzed their defense patterns. Their shields must lower briefly to fire their reality-splitting weapons. A small, fast ship might. No, Nora cut him off. The Hyperion will do it. We have the best stealth systems and the strongest hull. Lieutenant Park, plot an intercept course. Commander, Park protested, at that range, the blast would. That's an order, Lieutenant. The next few minutes were a blur of precision timing and desperate maneuvers. The Hyperion took hit after hit, its hull groaning under the strain. But they got closer, waiting for the perfect moment. The Eternal Dominion's shields flickered as it prepared another devastating attack. In that split second, the Hyperion launched its payload, specially modified mining charges infused with quantum disruption technology. The explosion that followed defied description. Reality itself seemed to tear apart around the Hegemony flagship. The Hyperion's engines burned at maximum power, trying to escape the gravitational distortions. They almost made it. Legacy of Stars. Damage report, Nora called out, pulling herself up from the deck. The Hyperion's bridge was barely recognizable, emergency lighting casting red shadows across broken consoles. Hull integrity at 15%, Park coughed through the smoke. Main power offline. But Commander, the Eternal Dominion. It's gone. The view screen flickered to life, showing the aftermath. Where the mighty flagship had been, there was now only a slowly dissipating quantum storm. The remaining Hegemony ships hung motionless in space, their ancient technology rendered useless by the backlash. Broadcasting on all frequencies, Nora ordered, wincing at her injuries. To all Hegemony forces, your leadership is gone. Your technological advantage is neutralized. Stand down, and we can end this without further bloodshed. For a moment, there was silence. Then, one by one, the Hegemony ships began powering down their weapons. Victory alerts sounded across the Alliance fleet, but Nora felt no joy, only the weight of what it had cost. Admiral Wong's hologram appeared, his expression a mix of pride and concern. The Hegemony's command structure is collapsing across the galaxy. Their subject worlds are rising up. Commander, you've done it. We all did it, Nora corrected, looking at her surviving crew. Every species that dared to dream of freedom. In the days that followed, the true scope of their victory became clear. The Hegemony's carefully maintained image of technological superiority had been their greatest weakness. Once exposed, their empire crumbled faster than anyone expected. 1 month later, Nora stood before the newly formed Galactic Council, a coalition of formerly subjugated species. The Arcturians, the Nexari, the Vex, and dozens of others, all equal partners in shaping the future. The age of the hegemony is over, she addressed the assembly. But our real work is just beginning. We must build something better from the ashes, not an empire of control, but a federation of equals. Dr. Rahman, recovered enough to attend, smiled from her hover chair. And we'll do it together, advancing through innovation and cooperation, not stagnation and fear. The Hyperion, partially rebuilt, remained a symbol, not just of humanity's determination, but of what different species could achieve together. Its quantum disruptor technology was shared freely, ensuring no single power could ever again maintain technological dominance through suppression. As Nora looked out at the stars from the council chamber, she reflected on the cost of freedom. Many hadn't lived to see this day, but their sacrifice had changed the galaxy forever. The hegemony's 10,000-year rule had ended not just through superior technology or military might, but through the combined will of those who dared to believe in something better. The stars seemed brighter now, promising not an end, but a beginning. Humanity had proven itself not just to the galaxy, but to themselves. And in the end, that might have been the greatest victory of all.